everyone, I'm Maki. Sunrise Studio has announced its 50th anniversary project. As you know, Sunrise Studio is a company that produces many anime series, including the Gundam franchise. It now operates as the animation production division of Bandai Namco. While there was not much truly surprising information in this announcement, there was some that made me feel excited. Let's take a look at the interesting details together today. If you would like, please support my channel by joining the membership for 99 cents per month. As a thank you, you will receive a name badge and comment stamps. Now, let's begin. First, let's take a look at the key visual for the 50th anniversary. It brings together a variety of different works. This illustration was chosen from over 500 original Sunrise works. It is notable that a large portion of it is made up of robot anime. The first story released as a Sunrise work was Zambot 3. Zambot 3 is also introduced as one of its representative works in the materials. As it sometimes appears in games, many people may at least be aware of its existence. Zambot 3 is also closely connected to the Gundam series. Among Japanese anime fans, it is a highly praised work. If you have the opportunity to watch Zambot 3, I recommend giving it a try. The story was written and directed by Yoshiyuki Tomino. The main mechanical designs were handled by Kunio Okawara. Yoshikazu Yasuhiko was responsible for the character designs. It was created by the same team that made the original 0079 Gundam. I think it's fair to call it the de facto older brother of Gundam. The direction and nature of the story are also extremely similar to Gundam. To avoid spoilers, I will describe it in slightly vague terms. As its appearance suggests, Zambot 3 is a robot anime. It was of course made with the assumption that children would watch it. Old robot and hero anime were often centered on the idea of an absolutely evil being invading. In many cases, the protagonist was a strong hero who was trusted and liked by the people. However, Zambot 3 took a different direction to that kind of traditional, typical story. Tomino seriously analyzed and studied the question, what would it actually be like if aliens invaded Earth? He also considered the psychological impact that giant robots fighting in the middle of a city would have on people. He also considered why aliens with advanced technology would go to the trouble of invading another planet. What impact does war have on the minds of ordinary people? This story is the result of a serious pursuit of realism. As the story is portrayed very seriously, some people seem to find watching Zambot 3 emotionally exhausting. However, it is a wonderful story that deserves to be called a masterpiece. If you are able to watch it, I recommend taking it on. I think you will understand why it is considered a landmark work to celebrate Sunrise's 50th anniversary. One more piece of information caught my attention, so let's take a look at it. On the page discussing Sunrise Studios' history and future outlook, I came across a phrase that caught my eye. The first is the phrase, a pioneer of real robot anime. Many of you will probably be familiar with the terms real robot and super robot, which are used to classify robot anime. These terms became famous through the Super Robot Wars game series. One notable feature of this classification system is that it does not have a strict definition and is often used intuitively. Works that pursue realism and have detailed settings that appear to be based on reality are often called real robot. Works where the settings are not clearly explained and which, depending on interpretation, have qualities closer to fantasy are often called super robot. The Gundam series is often referred to as real robot. The materials announced this time also include the term real robot. Originally, it was a temporary term used by fans in relation to games, but the fact that Sunrise uses it internally as a classification name also shows that they clearly recognize real robot as a genre. However, as I mentioned earlier, this classification has no clear definition. Zambot 3 is probably an example of that. The energy source and transformation mechanisms in Zambot 3 are not defined as clearly as they are in the Gundam series. Nevertheless, the story and worldview are portrayed with an extremely strong emphasis on realism. Having watched Zambot 3, what genre would you classify it as? In many forms of media, it is often evaluated as a super robot. However, some people also describe it as a real robot. Finally, let's take a look at something that has me excited for new stories. The announced materials include a declaration that Sunrise Studio will produce new installments in existing series, as well as brand new works between 2026 and 2028. New entries in existing series refers to new works based on existing stories. A representative example would be the Gundam series. This year's Hathaway's Flash movie is the second part of that story. It falls under the category of the second part of an existing story. Personally, I am hoping for a new Gundam television anime series. Sunrise Studio produces many different anime series, not just the Gundam series. So it is also possible that it could mean new entries in those series. Then there is the phrase, completely new works. This refers to works where everything, including the story and characters, is created from scratch. It is a very ambitious endeavor. Robot anime is a popular genre, but outside of the Gundam series, it is not often produced. I hope this will lead to a new challenge that will reveal the genre itself. Was there any information that caught your attention? Personally, I really hope you will try watching Zambot 3. I consider it a masterpiece that has left its mark on the history of the genre. Thank you for watching until the end. I'll see you again in the next program.